Two.
Hello everyone. I hope you're all getting on your hours. And I'll set them up. The way it's going to work, we've got 4 of us here and we're going to do 10 minutes each. Let it run and then a panel at the end. So it's not very long, so I think we're going to get cracking. First up with Ben Robinson from Fields. Hello Ben.
Good afternoon.
Ben, so just start off, I mean, would it be fair to say for you guys it's been a slightly up and down year?
I think that'd be a fair comment. I think it's a festival industry, so it's usually a lot of up and downs. But yeah, we've had quite a challenging year, quite an exciting year. So I run from the field, so David Smith, which is a promotions and festival company. We built our reputation on Kendal Quality, which we co-founded 11 years ago. And in the last couple of years, we realised we had a really great team, a lot of skills. We had a lot of great connections, and we had Kendal in the capacity that we felt was the right size for it to really want to grow it. So we kind of get the itch every winter to do something else, something new. And we realised what we needed to do was maybe look outside of doing that. Kendal Quality, because it very much knows what it is. And look at growing a portfolio of events. For something new to do, some fun, and also to give some space for the people who work for us, for the team, to stagnate. You know, we also realise that if you run a small company, then there aren't places for people to go within that company. And what we found was we had people that come and then leave that we would like to retain. And we thought, you know, either retain a small group of us, or you know, we look to grow and to expand. And we look at what we can achieve in the next 10 years. So that led us to starting a festival last year called Forgotten Fields, which is down in Kent. And in the first year we had Seafaring Animals, which was lifelong ambitions for Tramlines, so that was good. Yeah, it was really good. And you know, there's a number of reasons we did it. As I said previously, another reason was 3 years ago we had sold the festival out and were short of another headline act, believe it or not, in March. And we're in a position where there just wasn't an artist we could book. So part of the Forgotten Fields thing as well was let's put it as far away as possible from Kendal so that it doesn't cause any problems. But let's see if we can grow a sister festival so that we can team up on bookings and things like that as well.
And so the first year for you, would you classify that as a success?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean there was challenges going into a new marketplace. We anticipated we'd sell around 5,000 tickets year one, and then the aspiration was to grow that from 5,000 over a period of 3 to 5 years to somewhere around 15,000 to get to a model and a size as many people know where actually the festival's sustainable, it is making profits, there is the money there to assure that if you have a bad year then actually you can survive that. I think that's one important thing, as Jon was saying earlier. You've got to be able to survive in the industry in a tough year. The entire festival industry can change in a year if the weather hits you or you don't get the right artists. So that for me is what we look at from the field to try and make festivals of a sustainable size so that there's actually that headroom. So we did around 4,000 tickets. We hit just under. We had anticipated to put aside some money that we wanted to invest in it. It cost us a little bit more than we'd hoped for the first year, but we did a great event. We had great reviews. Great photography, great video. We had a festival that people really enjoyed. There was some bits around the edges, could have been done better, but there's always going to be that 10% on the first year of the festival. So that's kind of where we were from last year.
So can you take us a little bit through the process of what happened this year? Because it felt like to me a bit of a surprise that it didn't go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So we booked some bands, we sorted marketing, everything was looking better, launching a festival with no marketing, to run campaigns on social media, to run video and everything, and not have anything. It was quite challenging year one. You got a bit of branding, but you haven't actually got anything to sell that vision. So we were in a better position with marketing, we were in a better position with knowing the area, we were in a better position with partners. We booked a bill which we considered to be a much better bill. We diversified it a little bit, put a little bit more dance for a younger audience in there, just to try and hit a slightly new market in the area. And we put it on sale, and it just didn't sell as well as we'd anticipated. I mean, we could all sit here all day and discuss why a festival does or doesn't sell. And there was, I guess, probably from when we launched it, it was probably about 2 to 3 months of us looking at it going, okay, this isn't quite getting there. This isn't quite going to get to where we thought. We might not actually on projections as we're looking at it now get to where we were the previous year. So we went through a process of reviewing everything we were doing on a bi-weekly basis. That was all the digital stuff that we were doing, all print, all promo, the advertising, radio advertising, and we went out to every kind of skill set and every person that we could call upon, to look and think, okay, what can we do to make this work? What more can we be doing here? What can we do there? And we just didn't really see that translate into many more sales.
So at what point did you make the decision to push the button, as it were?
It was 3 months out.
Right.
So we looked at the projections, we've been having this sleepless nights, we've been looking at the money that had already been invested the previous year, we were looking at actually if we're going to go ahead and current sales. There might be a last minute spike, the weather might come out, might hit spring. We were looking at all those things that you like to look at, like, oh, it's a sunny weekend this weekend. People will get into festival mode, will sell a little bit more, but you've got to kind of be realistic with yourself. You can hold very high heads and go, oh, I might just do it for last week. But we looked at it and we thought, it's not looking, from what we can see, the information that we have, it's not looking that will happen. And we can't just bury our heads for that risk because we're not in a position to be able to do that. So we had some very corona conversations, myself and Andy sat down and suddenly maybe we cancel this was, with the thing that never really gets mentioned around the table was, and it was like, no, we're not there, we can't possibly do that, it's a great festival, it'll work, it'll just work because we want it to work. And I think we then realised, well, actually, maybe that is an option on the table now. So we did some strategising with it. We looked at it, okay, if we decrease the sales are over 3,000, what can we produce? Where can we cut the budget down to make this go ahead? So what we actually discovered through that was that if we cut the production of the event down, we started cutting stages, if we could cut any more than we actually had already brought down, the level of the quality of production that we were actually going to put out was not going to be the standard that we actually produce. And we're like, we're going to end up producing a festival there if we cut it that far back, that we're not proud of, that the customers aren't going to be very happy with because it's going to be less of quality than the previous year. And we're just going to be in a position where we create something and nobody's happy, and that's not really going to help us for the following year either. We're on a downward spiral already from that perspective.
Okay, so let's move on quickly. We've only got 5 minutes to Blue Dot, which was by all accounts a qualified success.
Sorry, just the reason I got asked this to speak about this is the roundtable at the AIF. I just actually started talking about this and chatting with Paul, that it's an important thing for people to know within the industry, and as a promoter, that not many people talk about it, that you do have the decision to not go ahead, and sometimes that is the right decision. So we made the decision 3 months out. We made that a responsible decision to get in touch with our audience so that they could rebook for the festival. We did a ticket exchange and started calling and some other events so people could swap out and go to a different festival. And it also gave the 3 months for any of the contractors or anybody else who's working for us to know that they weren't doing the show and they could get on work. So that was the important thing for us to not go ahead and screw up the customers or screw up everybody else. And once that decision was made, actually, I think me and Andy had to kind of rein ourselves in, because for us, the massive weight had been lifted. For everyone else, it was like, oh, this is very sad. It's like, it is, but it's a good place to be at, because the last 2 months have been horrendous, and actually, it's good to make that just to make people want to do that.
Yeah, and so let's just quickly talk about Blue Dot. So how long have that been in development?
Blue Dot was an idea on a piece of paper about this time last year. It was an insane idea that I had that I tried to explain to the team, who kept telling me they didn't understand it. I kept on with it. We've done the live job bank shows at Jodrell previously, and what we wanted to do was bring a 3-day camping concept together. So we talked to Jodrell and Tim Peake is going into space. We talked to the UK Space Agency. So we kind of went from a position of doing events and films, trying to book bands and headliners, to trying to book Tim Peake for its first astronaut.
And how did that come about, that link up with the Space Agency? Because that's
so
pretty unique.
That was through the scientists at Jodrell Bank. They work with them on a regular basis, so they put together the whole kind of science and technology program. We worked on the way that crossover with the arts, with music. So unfortunately, Tim Peake delayed his flight to space. So when he came back, he still had his space legs, and we went ready to launch Jon Drape, Tim Peake, Brian Cox, and it became the biggest nightmare of the year. Was trying to get BBC Radio 4 to agree to what we could put on a poster. We wanted the name Brian Cox on the poster because it looked very good, it would fit the bill. They insisted that we had to put the Infinite Monkey, BBC Radio 4's Infinite Monkey Cage featuring Professor Brian Cox and Robin Ince, which we kind of explained wasn't really going to look very good. So we got that in place. We got Jean-Michel Jarre in place, ready to launch in January. He then changed his plans for his UK tour, his arena tour, didn't let us announce until the UK tour announced. So he put that back to February. He then decided he didn't want to announce the UK tour until he announced the world tour. So despite successful protocols at the agency saying we're launching an entirely new festival, it's already February, it's now March. We kind of should agree here if we don't get this out the door ASAP. We're kind of beholden to Jean-Michel Jarre's in time for that world tour, so that was interesting.
Is it time to get John up and running? There he is. For those who don't know, this is on Empson, who's a programmer, promoter at Wilderness, Citadel, Eden Sessions, and the kind of long and illustrious history. So, John, I wanted to talk to you about headliners, because you've got a lot of experience of looking at headliner.
I always have to book about 18 to 20 headliners every year.
Wow.
It's pretty tough.
So for you now, what's your kind of priority when you're booking a headliner?
I mean, honestly, sell tickets. That is the bottom line. You hear a lot of stuff over this conference about why people go to festivals. My view is the only real reason they go is who's headlining the festival. I know that's controversial. Wilderness, as we all know, is a festival with many different facets. But when we book the headliners and we announce them, that's when we sell tickets. So, that's the honest answer. But of course, we want to book a varied lineup and program. We want to be multi-genre. So you kind of you also, what's key, with all this talk about exclusivity, etc., is we all want to book unique bills, but there isn't the talent to go around. That's the bottom line. There's too many festivals to make that happen. So that's really the challenge, to put on interesting shows that will sell.
And how's it changed for you in, say, the last 5 years in what you're looking for?
I mean, with the Eden Sessions, it's gone from being 3 shows at 3,000 capacity to 8 at 6,000 capacity. So we sold 45,000 tickets in Cornwall last year. So it's quite a big show, but it's a very small market, and it's a county with not a lot of money in it and not many people there. So it's a challenge. It's a real challenge. You've got to get big acts who obviously demand a big fee. Ticket prices then going to have to be quite high. Then you're operating in a market where there's no money. So that's the kind of perfect storm of how it works. But I guess my challenge with Eden is what we've done really well with. A couple of years ago, we tried to change how we did things. So we upped our game. We booked Elton John to come down, which was kind of weird for us because we paid 3 times the amount we normally paid ours.
And Lionel Richie this year, I think.
Yeah. So that's the point. We did 2 Elton John's shows. They sold out for 2 Lionel Richie's. So the challenge now is not to become a kind of retro heritage.
Right. Okay.
The other challenge around that is we put on PJ Harvey this year, and we just couldn't sell tickets. Even though she's from the West Country, she's a 20-year career, one of the most iconic stars in the UK. We couldn't sell tickets. So therein lies what's kind of changing in the market, in my view. We did really well with pop and heritage and dance, not so well with
Jess Glynn as well.
Jess Glynn sold in and out. PJ Harvey sold half the tickets in 6 months.
Wow.
So that does give you a bit of a snapshot of the market.
So how does that inform your thinking for next year?
I mean, do less esoteric left field music, really.
That's what we'll do, Mark.
Have you got anything to add in this sort of field, Ben?
Yeah, I guess it's just about doing something a little bit different, standing out from what we've had the successes with this year. But as John says, we kind of we're 11 years in now, and we have a good formula. But as I said, there's only so many artists out there of a certain size, and we're hitting the point now where we have to make very careful choices about having back-to-back, not just repeating things, and also making choices about where we go to kind of make it a little bit more dynamic, or maybe just a little bit different and surprising for people's work it's been in the past. But we've had this conversation in Congress for a very long time. It is a bullfight for those deadlines. It was amazing. So.
Do you think we're going to see a move towards more full album run-throughs? Because obviously that's been covered. You had Flaming Lips this year, Wilderness. Is that something we're going to see more and more?
I think the sort of concept of an album show is a really good concept in the press and on paper. At the end of the day, the fans want to see the hits, and those album shows can be quite dull. Flaming Lips didn't play one of their hits. They got great press, but it wasn't a great show. It would be better to just have a straightforward Flaming Lips show, to be honest. I mean, we do a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff with orchestras, Wilderness, for example. Which is a nightmare, but it's a great show. But I also tend to think the fans at a festival want to hear the hits.
That's true. And also you were involved with Somersault, of course.
Yep.
And that cancelled. You didn't run this year, did you?
No, as you probably know, the Mum Group was bought by Live Nation last year, so by default, I've got one foot in the Live Nation camp and one in the independent camp, which is a kind of interesting place to be right now. Somersault did brilliantly year one, sold out, 20,000 capacity. Everyone said you shouldn't do a new festival, it's a crowded market, you're going to fail. We had a great lineup. We had Jack Johnson and Ben Howard for a surfing audience, fucking perfect.
Yes, absolutely perfect.
Year two, great, but heavens opened, and it was a washout. And we've all been there. Everybody's shoulders drop on the Thursday night, you see it coming, you know it's going to be a disaster, you see people leaving the site, you see the empty bars. So consequently, we decided to take a year off. We don't want to refinance by Live Nation, it's going to come back next year.
Right, and it's quite an interesting thing to talk about, because I think we'll talk about it with John as well, the weather at Festival number 6 this year. I mean, how much of an effect does really bad weather have on it in terms of punter spend?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. The vibe on site is poor. People just think when can they get out? And they have trouble getting out. There's not enough traffic.
Yeah.
You get bad press about it. I think it needs to be handled well, that bit. But the real thing is they don't tend to want to come back next year. So it's you get a 25% drop normally. So it's quite hard to recover from. But you sort of need to learn how to recover from it, otherwise,
So what do you implement? Like, how do you recover?
I mean, you just have to really get your marketing right, reposition, use the photos from the year before. But a really good lineup that no one else has got.
Do you think, like we were talking about less esoteric, left field headlines, do you think we're going to sort of see the split between kind of experiential festivals and sort of headline-based festivals? Is that going to get more defined over the next 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, in the AIF there's a lot of different events and we're all called festivals, but some of them aren't really festivals in the true sense of the word. The Eden Sessions isn't a festival, it's a series of shows, in an amazing location. Shambhala, Boomtown, Wilderness to a certain extent are shows that, work without the real draw, the huge headliners and the big budgets. I think there's definitely space for that. I think the landscape is a really interesting one. It keeps developing. It's the one thing that is sure, is change is going to happen every year. I think everyone can coexist. I think, it's quite worrying that Live Nation Global 8-year block booking artists. You know, I think the problem with that is you get too many similar lineups and the price gets driven up across the board. That needs to be looked at. But I think the real thing is that everybody can coexist. There's always been big festivals and little festivals. Festivals are doing different things, and festivals that are headliner driven and some aren't. And I think as long as everyone focuses on what they're doing, we can all survive.
Brilliant. It might be time for Katie. Katie. Hey, this is Katie Hewett from Tramlines.
Kate.
Kate. Oh, sorry. Kate. I mean, just for anyone who maybe doesn't know, could you give us maybe a brief history of Tramlines?
Yeah, so we are a 30-ish thousand capacity city centre festival in Sheffield. We've just had our 8th year. We have got kind of an interesting history, I think, because for the first 4 years, we received quite a lot of funding from our city council, and we were able to run the entire event as a free entry, ticketless, multi-venue festival, which people really like that. In Sheffield, they really like free stuff. Who can argue with that? But then recession and Tories and all the rest of it, so the funding dried up, and that was one of a few different reasons why 4 years ago we decided to introduce a ticket price. So we had the kind of challenge of saying to people, this thing that you've enjoyed for free, now you have to pay for it. And working out how to sort of reposition ourselves as something that was worth paying for. And, part of the challenge for us was and continues to be that on the Tramlines weekend, everyone in Sheffield gets involved. I mean, there's music coming out of every bar, every pub, the butcher's shop, whatever it is, everyone's putting gigs on. And we're kind of now at a stage where those elements, the non-ticketed, the free bit, you can just pop into Sheffield City Centre on Tramlines weekend and have a great weekend watching live music without buying a ticket. It's a behemoth, it's giant. So we're kind of competing with the things that we were working alongside when we were a free festival. So part of the challenge for us is setting ourselves out as an event that is complementary to, but separate from, and worth parting with your cash for our ticketed bit.
How much was the ticket this year?
It was £42 for a full weekend.
Right.
And that was, it was cheap. But the first year we did it, we introduced it at £6. Because we kind of went from, the shift from free to anything at all is the easy one. And we still get calls from local press being like, hey, can you tell us about why it's not free anymore? It's like, that was 4 years ago.
Why did you introduce the ticket price in the first place?
But primarily because of a lack of funding.
Right.
So we used to receive a third of our funding from the City Council.
Right.
And we now don't get any. But then, there's all those ideological things like free live music, I think gives a skewed impression that music doesn't have value, which it does. It costs us money to put the event on. It costs artists money to have a career, to be able to sustain a career in live music, and that needs to be recognised.
Logistically, for you, what's the kind of biggest challenges you face on a sort of year-by-year basis? Because it's, how many venues is it now?
It's 20, so it's 4 outdoor stages and the rest indoor.
Right.
Our main stage is the biggest logistical challenge that we face. Actually, is that we're still, as Lee said in his conversation earlier, we're still kind of working out what the correct model is for us in terms of making it a sustainable event. I think that's probably something that a lot of people can relate to. So we keep doing daft stuff like moving our main stage to a whole new site and things like that. Just when we think we're cracking it, we do something daft. But the new site is really good.
Is it Ponderosa Green? Is that right?
Yeah, it is.
And
It's on.
And so, in that first year, how did you go about kind of getting council on board? Were they up for it, or was it kind of a lot of needling and Is it covering your part?
A bit of both. I mean, Sheffield is an interesting city for the nighttime economy and for live music because it's such a young city. We've got 2 universities. 10% of our whole population are students. But what that means is it gets to June and you just get this complete exodus of all of the people who would traditionally be going to your gigs and keeping your small venues open through the rest of the year. So Tramlines was kind of founded with that in mind as a means of keeping people in the city and giving people, students, a reason to come back during the summer months and continue to engage with Sheffield's live music and economy. And so on that level, yeah, the council was super supportive and they really wanted it to go ahead. But equally, we have the same problem that I'm sure, I know every other single city centre festival that I've talked to, and I'm sure every other Greenfield as well, does, which is that our council still don't really understand what it is that we're trying to do. So they, you know, a lot of time is spent wrangling with the council and saying, you know, we can prove that this model works. Look at how it works in Austin or in Brighton or, you know, wherever it might be.
And do you think you're now like appreciated as that part of that kind of Sheffield ecosystem?
Yeah, I think so. They always use us as an example. I was talking to someone about this yesterday and saying that we should really make more of that, you know, like, and the council are using us on their posters and on their marketing campaigns to be like, tell us something. They don't, you know, they do support us in lots of ways and they're very positive. You know, the reality is the climate for all live music in the UK in terms of funding is incredibly challenging. You know, it's not something, the kind of events that we put on, pop music, rock music, contemporary, it's not something that our government is looking to fund. It's not something that we're able to
and how much
sustain that way.
You sort of have to bend to their will, as it were? I mean, how much are they still on your back throughout the kind of organisation process?
They have no say in bookings, so that's really good news. They trust us that we know what we're doing there. It's an ongoing conversation. It's an ongoing conversation with the council as much as it is with South Yorkshire Police, as much as it is with local residents. You know, making sure that the event does work for everyone.
Do you think, because did you say it's 30,000 or 35,000?
30, yeah.
30. And do you think it kind of reached the peak size that you could do within that time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't see really how we could expand it because there's only so much space in Sheffield City Centre. We couldn't expand it much further without moving it to a completely different model. So yeah, in its current form.
Do you think that's something you'd ever consider, kind of moving to a single site or greenfield site?
Well, like I say, we're still kind of working out what the most sustainable model for the festival is. It's interesting, like we've done a lot of we do a lot of sitting down and talking to our audience and saying what's the stuff that they like. We know that they are really keen on emerging talent and on new music. Like you said, it's not the thing that sells the tickets, they want the headliners. However, that, you know, seeing local talent, unsigned acts, emerging talent, that's a really important thing. So we would be reluctant to do anything which would jeopardise that.
And like, how hands are you on personally with the kind of the booking of local talent? Obviously Sheffield is like absolute hotbed, especially recently.
Yeah, there's tons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me. I do
Is that what you're doing? And are you finding, since you started, the kind of restrictions placed upon you by authorities and council have kind of got more or got less over the last, 2009 you started?
Yeah, the challenges are really similar to when we set out, except that now we have to sell tickets to people, so we have to bear that in mind as well. I think, you know, a lot of the organisations that we speak to now have a better understanding of what it is that we try and do. You know, like the first year it was kind of like, well, you know, this is how we're gonna do our main stage, this is how we're gonna have it, this is the capacity we'd like. And they didn't like that, they didn't get that at all. But now, you know, we've done it enough times that they know it works.
Got credit.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah, somehow.
And like, for Ben, I mean, how have you found in the last kind of, since you started, you kind of, people wanting to have more control, less control, they kind of happen to you get on with it?
From the council perspective.
Yeah,
We had the best SAG we've ever had this year. We just turned up, did a slideshow presentation, everybody said that's great, we went home. So I think it's about establishing those relationships. In the early years when, say I was 21 and he was 18, we got quizzed about absolutely everything. Everything was put in the spotlight. Stuff that isn't really anything to do with the council, there isn't actually legislation on. They were quizzing us on every single area of it. But I think it's about doing the shows, building the trust. They just don't want any hassle in their lives. If they think you're going to put on an event and on Monday morning they're going to go into the office and their department's going to get a call from, there's going to be something in the press, they'll get a call from the superiors, or get loads of complaints from residents. They don't want that hassle in their day-to-day job. They would just rather not have it. So as long as you can put on an event and assure them that it's just good press and we win awards, it's a good thing for the area. They don't get any complaints. They're fine. They're quite happy. Let's just get on with it.
And what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out? It's their first year. And the way to deal with those local authorities and those councils.
Good luck. They're all different. They're all different characters. We've done festivals in different places. The Chocolate Bank, we've got, there's very little to do. They just can't trust us to get on with it. The City Advisory Group in Kent for the Cotton Fields was profound. Very strange bunch of people. And you've just got to learn the characters and how to deal with them, and just don't try and argue your point. Just make them happy. Just get on with what you need to do. Don't waste the energy on it. Because some of the requests will be quite odd and they might be wrong, but you've got to work with them and just try and get them on side.
I think it is worth noting though that now through organisations like the AIF, we are quite a powerful lobbying body. There are lots of examples of how it can work. And you can use those to your advantage.
Great. I think we're probably ready for our final. We were supposed to be having Gareth Cooper. He's got a lot back to London, which is great. So we've got Jon Drape instead. Hi John. So all the questions that I had lined up for Gareth are now null and void. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about question number 6, because I already had those questions lined up. We're going to talk a little bit about the weather, because the weather this year was not great for you guys. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
Not only, but I'm not going to begin with, I'm not talking about my worst moments in my working career.
Yeah.
Double stitching.
So, can you maybe take us, for anyone that's not aware, take us through a little bit of the weather situation that
occurred?
Yeah.
It was extreme, and festival number 6, we've gone for 5 years. The first 2 years we had extreme weather, but certainly not the scale that we encountered this year. And it is a difficult festival at times. The topography of the site, the logistics around the site. We can't have parking on the festival site. It's a park and ride scheme. The festival grown from 4,500 people in year 1, up to the licensed capacity of just short of 15,000 this year. There's one road in, one road out of the site. It's on the peninsula, so there's not a flat bit of land. So it's very challenging for the site teams. And we'd experienced bad weather in the past, but what happened this year, Festival number 6, was pretty much off the scale. And nothing I personally had to deal with. And it wasn't just one weather, occurrence. It was just basically a number of them on top of each other. And you've always got to be prepared for bad weather. Being through some pretty extreme chemical callings over the last few years. And that's part of what we do organising festivals. You've got to have that resource resilience and the wherewithal to get through bad weather. But I think when you get hit, first with Festival number 6, we knew it wasn't going to be a great weekend going into it. A week out, the forecast wasn't great.
So what sort of planning did you do for it? Does it affect your planning?
Oh yeah, very much so. Everyone is like, geared up. So I'll, talk to heads of departments about what we've got in place to deal with that. So whether it be additional trackway or, recovery vehicles for the car park. So we were gearing up for bad weather festival. Where, how much, wood chip can we get and how we can get into doing it. That's just what we do. So, but this was, we knew it was going to come in, but the scale of it when it came in was pretty extreme. And we were trying to get the forecasting. I mean, I've probably got about 5, web apps on my phone. You're constantly looking at the forecast. But what we were getting was clear forecasting. We were talking to our AIF Valley on Angle C about, what we could expect. And nobody knew because it's terrible because we're coming across from the Caribbean. And basically what happened, we got hit by extremely heavy rain to begin with. So we had quite widespread flooding on site, venues underwater, local drainage couldn't deal with it. Then, sort of battling against that, then we had high winds, very high winds came in. And in advance of this, the night before, we'd done an ELT at midnight. We got the heads of departments together, we discussed what we were going to do the next day, what venues we were going to shut, what areas of the site we thought would be unsafe to open, so woodlands where there's no tree surveys, we could open the woodlands, there were certain stretched heads, temporary structures that we thought would be vulnerable. So we had this whole plan put in place, and throughout the Saturday, there wasn't one venue, on Festival number 6, it wasn't shut at some point or evacuated because of the weather. We had marquee claps, warships evacuated the tower, we had 7 tons of steel on the main stage, moved 24 inches, the headline was playing with the PA on the floor because we couldn't fly out the PA, it was pretty rough. And then, when you just thought you got through it, so we did curfew, 3 AM, cracked open a bottle of red wine, got through this. Then we get a phone call from Park and Ride to say the river's burst its lungs. And then we had a field with about 800 cars in it, and, with water.
It is on the floodplain, isn't it? Is it right?
It is, yeah. Got to be careful.
And so you had 200 people stay at the local leisure centre on the Sunday night, was that right?
Yeah.
I was just intrigued reading about that. Is that something that you planned in advance? You had a locker? Or is that something you came up with on the cuff, on the fly?
In fact, I think the chair of Gwyneth SAG is sat in this room, so I've got to be careful what I say. No, it's fair to say I don't normally have leisure centres on standby with medical support. No. It was an extreme situation. I saw it at 4 o'clock in the morning, called an emergency LT for the following morning. We had an element of recovery resource available, but it seems to be it was off the scale of what to do. The first thing to do was email the insurers to let them know we were in a predicament, and we took it from there. But it's a testament to the team that I had, and contractors and staff that I had. We managed to keep running a festival on a Sunday with 15,000 people on site, as well as deploy, an ambulance, paramedics, welfare, additional security. At one point, we had 22 tractors.
Wow. What percentage of people do you think left on a Sunday? Left their job?
But not all of them, because 200 ended up in the leisure centre.
So I read the review on The Guardian. He said actually, in a funny way, the review said it was quite nice to set people into the town. They got to discover the smaller bits of the festival that perhaps people would have done if they stand at the main stage.
Oh yeah, there is this. It has had a additional impact on the local economy because there were hotels taking on Sunday night and Monday night and Tuesday night by people.
And how does it affect that experience, or does it affect your planning for next year?
Well, yeah, of course it does. We'd use that site. We knew it could flood. It had flooded in the summer before. Until this year, can't really go into the details about But we've done 2 bad money years using that site, so it's fair to say we are completely remodelling our park and ride operations for next year. But I think, you know, the other thing as well with Festival 6, you know, with the audience demographic and the profile of the audience, you know, we've had 2 really good weather years, the audience started to grow. You know, we've got, you know, a number of complaints coming back in that, you know, people were shocked that the main arena was muddy. You know, so I think, you know, there will be a drop-off of, you know, sort of fair weather festival goers who won't come back to Festival number 6. Having said that, we've just done the audience survey, and, you know, it's remarkably extremely positive, so.
Amazing. Right, so I think maybe we should move to the kind of the panel discussion now. So if you want to chip in, feel free. And we might have to pass the mic to others. Obviously, there's Live Nation's purchase of Money Group recently, and then global board with Live linked up. But like, I mean, how's this going to affect the sort of festival landscape for our members over the next kind of 5 years? Do you think?
I think, as I said earlier, I think we can all coexist. But within that, I think the talent is going to get snapped up by their guys and our guys at a lower level, and I think that is a bit of a concern for our festivals.
As in lower than bill?
Yeah, I think there's, you know, Live Nation particularly, they're a promoter, right? So the festival is a big part of their business, but so is promoting shows, you know, and they want to increase their market share. So they'll go after emerging talent bands, go down to 10 grand, but they'll want to do 10 shows and pay them 100 grand. And, you know, that used to happen at the top, it is happening lower down now, and that is a worry. With my evening sessions cap on, I would say all exclusivities can be broken by the artist or the agent. You know, they're not set in stone, and they're normally there for a reason. You know, like I said before, you don't want to replicate bills anyway. So I think you can still get around these things by putting on great events and presenting a really good case for these artists to play in the festival. And one of the things I always say about it is, if I'd always taken notes from every agent, I would never look back. What I say is just be tenacious and keep going back and keep presenting them more. You know, I always go, Reading and Leeds, what the fuck has that got to do with Cornwall? No one's going from Cornwall to Reading, you know. And those arguments, they sometimes just, if you really get the door down, sometimes they just give up and you get back. So that's my strategy.
And do you think we're going to see fees going up?
Yes. I mean, Live Nation have been outbid on fees already by some artists, group promoters.
Right.
And if anything, the philosophy from Live Nation is to pay market rate for bands, never overpay, and really don't underpay. So it never really works. Chipping a fee is a kind of pointless exercise.
Right.
So I think fees always go up. You know, ticket prices go up, and you know, I don't know where that's going to end up. Probably not somewhere that we particularly want to dwell on. But you know, the brutal, honest answer is fees always go up.
Kate, have you got anything?
Yeah, I think that climate that you've spoken about, Jon, is like there's a lot of scope for collaboration amongst independent organisations. You know, it's something you've got to respond to. Something we've found in the past works really well for us is looking at people who, like you say with you and Reading and Leeds, like that we're definitely not competing with, and looking at doing group booking deals. Obviously, we're not going to be Live Nation. We can't offer you 10 festivals all on the same weekend, but we might be able to offer you 3.
Right.
You know, by working with fellow AIF members and putting, you know, working out what is not going to damage our event nor anybody else's, and working together on that. I think, you know, it's also, it's a time to be looking at our own responsibilities as festival organisers to develop talent lower down the bill, so that we can make sure we're not all making over the same 10 headliners in 5 years' time.
Sure.
And one of the things that artists, in my experience, like is the people that help them at the beginning, and they never really forget that, you know. And getting close to an artist early is a really good strategy, because you can go along on their coattails for a little bit. I know, for example, there's a very big band at the moment that we're looking at a huge offer for a major festival, and everybody thought it was going to happen. Manager, agent, promoter, and the band went, we don't want to do it. And you do have to sometimes acknowledge that the band is the one that makes the final decision. You know? So getting close to artists is when they're starting is key.
Yeah, I just add as well that bigger groups, obviously, they might have more money or more buying power, but what I think is more prominent in this group is actually creativity and ideas. And I think that there's room out there for new festivals, there's room for new ideas. As John said earlier, it's always changing. Nobody would have sat here and predicted 5 or 10 years ago that the festivals like Boomtown would have come around. Sorry, 55,000 tickets. It's absolutely insane what's been achieved there. They don't really worry about headliners, they don't really spend a lot of money on it, but they've done something creative, something unique. With Blue Dot, this year we've seen that, we put that out there to artists, and we've got Jean-Michel Jarre, who's got the world record for the 2 biggest shows played on planet Earth, to come and play, but essentially an 8,000 capacity festival in year 1, because he loved the concept, he thought it was amazing. DJ Shadow, I'm a massive fan of. The agent just came back and said, please make us an offer, we really want to do it. I said, literally, I don't want to insult you, there isn't any budget left, and there isn't a slot. He essentially played for half of what he would usually play for, because he just wanted to do Blue Dot. They wanted to do Blue Dot, Secret Garden Party, and a gig in Bristol, because they wanted that kind of a cool look. So, if you can approach the artist, and you can make something which the artist wants to actually play, yes, you have to get by the agents who are always going to look at money first, but an agent wants to keep his artist happy. And it's in the interest of an artist with a certain spirits to be seen at the right shows rather than just the highest paying shows as well.
And we've only got a few minutes left, so very quickly, it's quite a broad question, but from your guys' point of view, what do you think over the next 5 years, maybe next 3 years, are going to be kind of the major trends that you'll be seeing?
I think what we're seeing across the board is just, the audience's expectations of that audience experience on site at any festival. They want a better experience, and a lot of the time they're prepared to pay for it as well. I mean, the boutique camping offer, the toilet facilities, just the overall customer experience. I mean, that's just on an upward trend, and that's not going to stop.
And you guys, especially Blue Dot, the kind of implementation of technology and stuff like that, is that going to kind of, or what do you see happening over the next few years?
In terms of Blue Dot, it's really exciting. We've got something that we can go in a lot of different directions that Kendall Calling hasn't been able to, and that other festivals maybe haven't been able to as well. We chatted to Sammy actually yesterday after a presentation about the possibilities of technology at festivals, digital integrated festivals. It's always something that I've been, in a certain way, I've always seen calling festivals as escapism, getting away from your mobile phones, getting away from the TV, having a shared experience in a more natural environment. But Blue Dot, it gives that opportunity for us to look at what's the future really about, what's really going on. And I think we're at a point, the first email was sent in 1982 or something. I think everyone forgets how recent the entire the internet and digital possibilities are. What's actually going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years is, what's happened in the last 5 to 10 years is insane. YouTube's only 10 years old. It's insane to think what might happen on a digital platform and how that will change the way that we do things, the way that we run our businesses, the way that we interact with audiences as well.
I think one negative thing that we've all got to face up to, which leads on to my number 6 experience, but also ties into Blue Dot, is climate change and extreme weather conditions. And it's funny, a couple of the scientists from Jon Drape who are at Blue Dot, we've been talking about climate change, some of our strands of talks moving forward. And extreme weather conditions are here to stay, and they're going to be there all the way through our festival season. I started the season with Park Life, where we had a tanker spraying water on the roads because it was quite dusty and everyone was getting respiratory issues. The day before the show, I was ordering 110 tons of wood chipping because the heaven had opened and we were into extreme rain. And unfortunately, whether we like it or not, that's going to be our summers moving forward. So I think, as an industry, we need to get with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've got a positive thing that I think is changing. A thing that I'm really excited about is the fact that we are now, for what feels like the first time, opening up discussions about improving the accessibility of our events and of the industry as a whole to a broad selection of people, whether that be improving physical accessibility through organisations like Attitudes Everything, or discussing the diversity that we present on our festival lineups and amongst our festival staff. It feels like that's a conversation that's actually taking place, and that there is, you know, amongst audiences as well as amongst the industry itself, there is an appetite to change that.
Great. John?
I think trying to find new ways to engage audiences over and above headliners, embracing technology, filming, doing broadcast partnerships. Eden, we've got one with the BBC, James is in the room, I think. At Wilderness, just really trying to push boundaries, you know, and the spectacle of Wilderness and Saturday night has become a real thing, and it's been copied at other places. We're really going to try and improve that. Just talk to people in this room and elsewhere how to do that and really stretch some creative boundaries.
Great. All right, well, I think that might be it. Right then.